Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon from Nigeria. Yes, it's a beautiful afternoon here in Lagos. Yes, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this session. I really hope that we have a very great time today. So before I start, I'd like to introduce myself and my colleagues on the call. Right, so I am Olamide Ogungbemi. I am a Google Digital Skills Trainer with Impact Her. Impact Her is an organization that helps women connect to investors and of course get them ready for the next level of their businesses, right? And yeah, I have with me my wonderful colleague Johanna. Johanna is going to be moderating, so you'll be seeing at the comment section. So please do well to engage with him, right, while the training is going on. And of course, I have Chidima. Chidima is at the back end. You won't be seeing much of her, but she's doing a great job by ensuring that this training goes smoothly without issues. So, welcome everyone. Please feel free to introduce yourself and let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what your business name is, and we'll be happy to have you. All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right. So today we're talking about how to stay productive online. Right, staying productive online. That's what we're going to be looking at today. Right. So let's just move ahead while I talk about the agenda. So we're going to look at how to set up your remote office. We're going to look at how to build a productive work environment, and of course lastly we'll talk about how to manage and maintain your well-being because it's very important, right? Okay, so before I go ahead, I would like to let you know that Google is actually offering a free one-to-one mentoring program and mentorship for you, right? If you own a small business or charity, right? So you can actually sign up for that on Google bit.ly/GDSA mentoring, right? So bit.ly/GDSA mentoring. I'm sure Johanna will be dropping that link for us so that we'll take note of it. Right. So let's just move ahead. So how has COVID-19 impacted your role? Right. You can just drop that comment on this comment section and let us know how it has impacted your role. Right. But of course I'll just continue. All right. So let's look at how to set up your remote office. Right. So what is remote working anyway? So remote working basically has to do with working from a place that is not your own physical office, right? It could be working from a cafe, it could be working from home, it could be working from a library, it could be working from just a place different from a traditional office, right? So that's really remote working. Of course, it means that you're able to connect with your colleagues or your boss or whatever it is virtually. And for you as an entrepreneur, right, it would be that you are connecting with your employees, right, virtually, so that you're able to know what they are doing and of course guide them on what to do even without seeing them in person, right? And of course you understand that COVID-19 actually impacted this and made this full blown such that people don't really have to see each other before they work productively. All right, so where can people work remotely? You can work from home. I talked about that, right? Because it's going to give you a flexibility of working doing stuff at home and also working at the same time, right? And of course you can work from a coffee shop, more like working in a place where a bar or a cafe and all that, right? As long as it boosts your productivity, that's the major highlight, right? And of course you can actually work from a co-working space. I'm sure you've heard that before. For a co-working space, you'll be asked to actually pay a fee, and of course usually it's a token fee, right? Because you'll be enjoying their equipment, things like power, internet, a space to stay in. So yes, and of course you can actually work from a library, and this is if you don't have to make a lot of phone calls, right? So if you know you're going to make a lot of phone calls, please don't bother working from a library so that you don't disturb them with your noise. All right, so yeah, of course I was not supposed to say noise, but I mean don't disturb them with maybe your phone calls or what you're talking about. All right. So what do you need to work remotely, right? We actually need a lot of things. Please, if you have ideas, please feel free to drop it in the comment section, right? While I just continue with this particular part. So yes, what you need to work remotely, you need a dedicated workspace. Yeah, that means you need a space, you need a table, a chair, right, where it's separate from your home. I'm not saying that you should take your chair and table outside of your house, but you can just look for a very comfortable corner, around your home that is dedicated to your work, right? So that whenever you want to work, that's where you work from, right? And everybody respects that space. Then of course you can actually you have to have your devices like your laptop, your tablet, your internet, right? So this is very important, so that you're able to connect with others and of course collaborate with them. Then yes, we have the internet, just like earlier mentioned. So you need internet connection to actually work remotely. So yes, just like we were saying, talking about having your own workspace. So you have to create your own workspace. Of course, it's necessary that whatever workspace you are choosing, it has to be a place that will make you productive and comfortable for you as a person, right? So the first thing you need to understand is that you don't stay on your bed, right, or your couch where you can relax and then next minute you are dozing off, right? You need to ensure that you stay in a space that makes you alert and productive. And of course, set up a table and chair, and just like I said, table and chair can actually make you very productive, right? And yes, make sure that your space is comfortable, right? It's a comfortable space, and of course, consider your posture. Don't stay in a place where you have to be bending, or you have to where you begin to have back pains and all that. That's not really great for you. So ensure that you actually have your own workspace that will make you productive, right? So your physical equipment, right, that you need a phone, of course, right, to make calls, right, to connect with people via instant messaging and all that, and of course a computer to do your work, right. It probably might be Excel, I mean spreadsheets, documents and all that, right? You need a computer to do that. And of course, you need a notebook to jot down your ideas. Oh, I have an idea about this particular about how to improve my brand. You're able to note it down there. Oh, I have an idea. I'm going to talk to one of my employees about it for the implementation. You write it down, right? So that's really important for you. All right. So of course you have to ensure that you get a stable power. Get stable power so that you are productive, right? You don't make excuse. Oh, there is no light, and so I cannot work, and then you just go and sleep, right? So no, ensure that you have probably a generating set, that makes you that you can easily turn on when there is no power from your government, right? Or you can actually try solar power devices, such as inverters and all of those other kind of things that can help you work, with solar. Then of course, power banks, where the ones you have to charge, while you have power, and then it begins to serve you when there is no power. So those are the things that you need to ensure you put in place, if for you to have a stable power, to work. All right, so let's look at the internet connections bit, right? You need an internet connection, right? Oh yeah, so I can see Rebecca. Rebecca, welcome. It's great to have you, Rebecca. Welcome. You're joining us from Zambia. How is Zambia this afternoon? Right. I hope that you're doing well. Yes, yes, it's great to have you, Rebecca. All right. So I was talking about the fact that you have to ensure that you have great internet connection. Of course, you understand that in Africa, we are just developing, right? Things are not where they should be, right? For example, you know that usually sometimes there's internet um issues where you say, oh, I can't hear you. You're in a meeting and say, oh, I can't hear you. Can you repeat? Oh, my network is breaking and all that. Of course, you see that in Africa most of the time. But yes, something you can do is that you can actually try to get a more stable ISP, right? ISP means internet service provider. So just look around for you for look around you to know, okay, what network works better around my area. And of course you can leverage on that network, and you don't have to rely on that network solely. You can get an alternative network, so that if for example this particular MTN Ghana, for example, if MTN is not working well, you can switch to another network that works well, right? Then of course you need to ensure that you find the right router, because sometimes the kind of router you use depends. I mean, the kind of device you use, for your internet depends on how fast it could be. Of course, we understand that a router is usually faster than using your hotspot on your phone, right? So if it means getting a router, please do get a router. Then of course you have to plug into Wi-Fi and of course test and compare your internet speed. So you can there are actually website that can help you connect your to test your internet speed to know how good it is and how, what needs to be worked on. All right, so let's just continue. I hope that we're learning. Rebecca, I hope that you're learning. And yes, please feel free to ask me any questions if you have any. All right, so let's go. What are the challenges of working remotely, right? What are challenges of working remotely? Rebecca, I would like to hear from you. What are challenges of working remotely? Please let me know. And if any other person on the call, please let me know. All right, so I'll just, move ahead while we talk about it together. And of course, if you have opinions, I would like to hear from you. All right, so let's get the first challenge of working remotely. We have loneliness, right? So sometimes it might get really lonely. I remember last year during the COVID-19 when I was just trying to get used to working from home. I mean, working from home every day. It wasn't that I never experienced that before then. Usually, even though I have to work from home, some days in a week I still have to go to the office. So most of the time I'm at the office with my colleagues. We're chatting and we're having a great time together while working. But this time, it was just like, oh, I had to work from home alone, and sometimes it could get lonely. And sometimes that I usually find what works for me, right? Something else might work for you, so I know what works for me. And once I start that activity, I'm fine, right? So whatever it is that works for you, ensure that you put it in place. But really, that's a challenge of working remotely. And of course, self-discipline. You say, oh, well, I'm tired, I want to go and rest, and you go to your bed and sleep for another 5 hours when you're supposed to be working. So with that, you're not being productive. Do you see that? Then of course, no employee benefits for employees. You say, oh, you know what, because you're not coming to the office, so no, there's no more free food, right? And so, oh, right. So something like that, it might affect employees, right? And of course, sometimes it's hard to switch off, right? You don't know when to stop working. You just keep working. 9 p.m. you're working, 10 p.m. you're working, 11 p.m. you're working, 12 p.m. you're working, and 1 a.m. you're still working, right? So sometimes it might be hard to switch off, and really this happens even to me personally, right? I just sometimes have to control it, because I understand that, oh, okay, there's a balance to things, right? So sometimes it might be very hard to switch off when you're working from home or working remotely. And of course, there's this fear of missing out. Oh, what if my colleagues in the office are these days? Or what if my employees are not doing great in their houses where they are working from? Oh, what if, and there's a lot of what ifs, right? And so that's the fear of actually challenge also. Mm. The benefits of working remotely, right? Let's get benefits of working remotely. What are the benefits of working remotely? Please let me know. If let me hear from you. What are the benefits of working remotely? What are the benefits of working remotely, right? I'd like to hear from you, right? So so one of the benefits of working remotely is flexibility, right? That means you can actually, your schedule is actually more flexible. You can choose that, okay, I'm gonna work from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., right? And I'm gonna take a break from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., maybe just play with my children, or take a nap, or play a game, or something, right, that makes you relax. And then from 4 p.m. you start working again to like 10 p.m. or whatever time you want to work. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. While your children are home, you're able to check in with them to know how they're doing. Your husband is at home, you're able to, okay, how are you doing, and all that. You're able to do work and your family together. Of course, you need to ensure that there's a balance, so that you don't spend too much time on work and leave your family, and too much time on family and leave your work, right? You need to ensure that there's a balance. Then of course, it saves you the energy of commuting. Do you know that most of the time, the amount of time it takes for you to work, to move from point A to point B, you are moving from your home to your office, sometimes is a lot of time. right? Sometimes it might take 1 hour, sometimes it might take 2 hours. I mean, from in Lagos, sometimes when you're going out, it might take you to, I mean, almost more than 1 hour to actually get to your destination. That's some a time that you have used for something else, right? So it saves you the time of commuting. And of course, it allows you to have time with your family, your friends, right? You're able to bond with them. You're able to, have fun with them. I remember, I have a sister, I mean, whose family, I mean, our family, they're not in the same place. Like, she's in a different place with her husband and all that. And due to COVID, they were able to stay together in a location for a lot of days, I mean, a lot of months, and they were able to bond as a family while they're working, right? It didn't affect their work. So that's something that is very good, right? It allows you time with your family. And of course, it allows, less distraction. Sometimes in the office, you'd be able to, there's this, oh, what's happening here, you're able to, you have, there's a tendency that you want to talk to your colleagues and, joke and play, and yes, those are good, but sometimes it might be just, taking out of your good time, right? To rather than using that time to work. And of course, you have high morale because you are relaxed, you're good, everything is flexible. There's this high morale to work, right? So that's something that's very beneficial for employees, right? So then, it also allows you to reduce overhead costs as a business, right? Now, your employees are not coming to the office, or your shop every day, so you don't have to spend money on fuel, for example, or you don't have to spend money on other utilities, right? Maybe it might be water, it might be electricity, or whatever, right? It allows you to save cost on all of those overheads, right? Then of course, it allows you greater productivity. Do you understand? So you're able to work better within a period of time. You're able to, achieve more results. And that's really what, I mean, every business owner wants. Nobody wants to just waste time, right? Everybody wants that whatever time is spent in their work or their businesses is it leads to productivity. And I'm sure that's what you also want, right? And of course, access to wider pool of talent, where you're able to access people even that are not in your country. You're able to employ people from UK, from US, right? From Liberia, from Nigeria, right? If you're in Ghana, for example, you're able to employ these people from all over the world, and you're able to get better skilled professionals. You're not limited to a particular, oh, people in Lagos, they are not good, so I can't hire. No, now you know that I have I'm not just limited to Lusaka. I employ people from, Ghana. I can employ people from New York. I can, you're able to, do this as long as you have what it takes to pay their salaries, right? And of course, improved employee retention, because employees feel that they are relaxed, they are not going through a lot of problems commuting, from place to place. They are relaxed, they don't have to go through the stress and the hassle of, going every day to work. They feel more relaxed, they feel more comfortable, and as such, that leads to improved employee retention. So they are, they want to stay, right? They want to stay with the organization because they feel like, you are giving them what they want. All right, so let's just continue. um so let me know if you have questions. I'll be happy to take your questions right before we dive into other parts of today's agenda. All right, Rebecca, I can see Rebecca very rapidly. Let me know if you have questions. I'll be happy to take them. All right. So just move on while I'll also be looking out for your questions. Right. Okay. So the next agenda on the agenda is how to build a productive work environment. Right. We need to ensure that you build a productive work environment for your team. Right. Because it's very really important that you ensure that your the workspace is of great quality, right? You don't just leave your workspace anyhow you want, right? You need to ensure that you designate an area that you want to work. Where am I going to work? Where am I going to put my table and my chair? Is in my room? Is in the living room? Is in the balcony? Is it where is more is even in the garage, right? It might be anywhere that is more comfortable, right? So then of course you have to know what chair is right for you. You don't put a couch when you're supposed to be walking. You're supposed to put an office chair, right? A chair that makes you, sit straight and not bend. Then of course you have to get a filing system so that you're able to organize your thoughts, your business, your ideas, and all that, right? So that at the end of the day you're able to be productive. So do you know that 40% of decrease in productivity is due to workplace distractions, and 27% of them actually leads to increase in errors. Like 40%, there's actually 40% decrease in productivity just because people are distracted at work, and there is 27% increase in errors. Do you see that? So that's something that that, okay, I mean, working in the office is really not everything, right? It can be adjusted. And so this is something that you have to consider as a business owner, right? If you have not considered remote working, I think it's a great time to actually consider that, knowing that your employees, right, would actually work or be more productive when they are working remotely, and of course reduce chances of errors. Do you see that? So how can you actually minimize distractions? Please let me know on the comment section. How can you actually minimize distractions? Right? How can you minimize distractions? I'll be waiting to hear from you, right? So you can actually minimize distractions by letting others know your work hours. So if it's your family or whatever, whoever you're staying with, you let them know, you know what, my work hours are from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So within that period of time, I will not be available. Right? Or you can say, oh, my work hours between 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. At 12 p.m. I take a break. I can have time with you. But from 3 p.m. again, I'm sorry, I will have to continue my work. So you have to let them understand what your work hours look like, right? And of course, you have to do one thing at a time. Don't try to do everything at the same time. Oh, this is going to become you do this. Or this is no, so that you be able to you actually rid of distractions and ensure that you do one thing at a time. Avoid household and TV distractions. There's television playing, and you're working, and you spend 15 minutes on television, you spend 5 minutes on work. Trust me, that will not work. You will never be productive with that. Even sometimes you might even get to a time where you just drop your work and say, this movie is very interesting, let me just watch it, and that's 2 hours is gone, off your work time, off your work hours, right? And that's of course also make you productive as a business owner, because of course you have to set the example. If you want your employees to be productive, you should be productive. You should be the one setting the pace. You should be the one chasing them, on how to do better, and not the other way around, right? And of course, put away all your pets. If you have dogs, you have cats, don't let them disturb you at that time. Just probably put them in a cage or something, or where they can enjoy themselves until you're ready for them, right? And of course, take regular breaks, right? Just like I mentioned earlier, you can just take a break, maybe for an hour break in between your work. You rest, maybe you can take a walk, listen to music or whatever it is that suits you. Sometimes it even be that you want to pray, you might want to meditate, or whatever it is that you want to do. Please just ensure that you take regular breaks from work. All right. So yes, how can you improve productivity within teams, right? This is very, very, very important for you, right, as a business owner, because you are the one that will ensure that you put everything in place to ensure that your team is productive, right? It's one thing for your staff to be willing to work. It's another thing for them to get the right tools to actually work. All right, so let's look at these things together. So the first is project management, right? You need to ensure that you actually plan, what you have to do. Plan your goals, plan your deliverables, right? You're able to know, okay, what are we delivering within what time frame? What's going to happen between this time to this time, right? This will help you to have a flow of what your works look like from beginning to the end, and you're able to establish your vision, and of course you're able to have your deliverables, right? You're able to also have your have logistics for your team, right? So that you're able to communicate better. You can say, okay, you know what, from now on, during work hours, we communicate with Slack. We communicate on Slack. So whatever you have to do, please drop a message on Slack, and people are, you can drop a message to your team members. You can say, oh, you know what, we're going to be using Microsoft Teams. So whenever we have meetings and all that, right, we'll use Microsoft Teams. So you have to ensure that you put that in place for your team. Then of course you have to promote visibility and transparency of all your work. So like everybody sees what's happening. I know Trello is a very good app for that, where you can actually see what everyone is doing and or has done, right? So it's very, very important for you that you ensure that your work is visible, right? For example, Hannah worked on delivery. She put it that she worked on delivery. Solomon worked on cake. He designed a cake, right? Or he baked a cake and designed it, right? He put it there, so everybody knows what everybody's doing, and you're able to understand the workflow, right? Then of course you have to track the quality of your project, and of course I've said Trello is actually a good way to do that. I think Asana also can do that, but yeah, you can actually check that out. Then of course you have to ensure that you eliminate bottlenecks, right? Main thing that allows your process to halt, that brings your project to a dead end. You have to eliminate it at all costs. All right, so let's move on. All right, so do you know that 70% of workplace mistakes are due to poor communication? So because people don't communicate, there's bound to be a lot of errors, right? You don't you as a employer or as a business owner, you don't tell your staff what you're expecting for them. You think that you assume that, oh, they should know. Wow, they should know that they should do this. We're not communicating to them to know that, okay, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. And because of that, you begin to make mistakes. So why did you do that? Oh, no, no. And they say, but you didn't tell me, I didn't know, and all that. That's really because there's no communication. So you need to ensure that there is communication within your own team, right? So let's look at the tools that can actually facilitate communication. So we have Google Hangouts, we have Slack, we have HubSpot, we have Gmail, right? And of course, you know that when it comes to emails, they're actually for formal conversations, right? You don't you just you do that because, okay, this is actually something that's formal to the business and all that, maybe agreements, partnership, and things like that, right? Then of course you can actually use instant messaging for less formal conversations, and if you want a very fast response, right? Instant messaging platforms are the best. Then of course you can use collaboration tools for actually your work projects. Stuff like Slack is actually a good one for that. All right, so let's get how to set rules to communicate effectively. So what are the rules that you have to set, right, to actually ensure that you communicate effectively with your team? So the first is that you have to communicate clearly. Let your communication be clear. Now it's better for you to over communicate than for you to under communicate. I've heard, yes, it's better for you to over communicate. So communicate clearly. Let your team members understand what you're trying to say. Let them kind of get into your thought process. Do you understand? Let them understand why you are thinking the way you're thinking, because it will help them to actually achieve their tasks, better and in a more productive manner. Not that they work on something. Oh, I didn't think you were going to do this, and then they go back and then they work on it, and that's the waste of productive time. Do you see that? And of course, you have to think about the what kind of message you are sending, right? And what's the context around it. You don't just send with an email. You don't send, oh, hello, how are you, I'm just trying to go for a very casual conversations. Oh, how are you doing today? I hope that you ate well. No, you don't put those kind of things on your email, right? That is for informal conversation. So you have to understand what kind of message you are sending, and the context that you are sending it, right? Then of course you have to respond promptly when people send you emails, or messages and all that. Ensure that you respond properly, because probably the person is depending on your response to go ahead to the next phase of whatever the person is working on. So please ensure that you respond promptly. All right, so then of course you have to set and role model the guidelines. Do you see that? So whatever it is that you have put in place, you need to be the first person to follow it. You don't put something in place for your team member and say, I'm above the rule. I mean, who is above the law? No one is above the law, right? Nobody's supposed to be above the law. So if you're setting a law, you ensure that you are bound by it, and you are the one that leads the way as regards that. Oh, I can see Vivian. Vivian, welcome from Zambia. Hi, Zambia. Today it's good to have you here. Yes, we're already in this session, right? But I am very sure that you still learn a lot of things before we round up. All right, welcome, welcome. All right, so let's just continue. So yes, for video calls and for video meetings and calls, you can actually use platforms like Zoom. Zoom is very popular nowadays. You can actually use Google Meet. You can actually use Microsoft Teams, Skype, and of course WhatsApp. Right. So those platforms allow you to do videos, right? And of course, they vary. Sometimes, I think for Zoom is about 100 participants. Um, I'm not sure if Google Meet has a cap, right? But I know that they allow for videos. Then of course, I'm not very familiar with Microsoft Teams, but I know that Skype allows you to call people, and of course, WhatsApp. But of course, WhatsApp is limited, I think, to 10 persons at a time. All right. So of course you understand that you can these tools allow you to communicate with your team, while working remotely, right? And of course you're able to improve your level of communication because you're able to call them anytime you want. You're able to see their faces. You're able to know, oh, are you fine? If you're able to see how the person is looking, so actually know if the person is fine or not, rather than just talking over the phone, with just by audio, and you can't even figure out what's happening with the other person, right? And of course, it boosts collaboration because with that, you'll be able to collaborate better. You'll be, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? You're able to share ideas, and of course, it leads to productivity. All right. So I hope that we're getting along, and I hope that we're enjoying this session. So I'll just continue with Google Meet, right? So what is Google Meet basically? So Google Meet is actually, an app by Google that, as name implies, right, that allows you to have meetings, video meetings, right? So of course, it actually has a very robust, infrastructure, and it's secure, right? It's also included in the G Suite and Suite for Education, right? So that's one thing. So Google Meet is one very great platform you can actually explore. Then of course you can actually explore Zoom. Zoom is very popular these days, right? So it's actually you have to download it on your. I mean, you can use with web, but I think it's better that you download it on your laptop or on your phone so that you can easily connect to meetings and connect to host meetings, right? Yeah, it's free, to an extent, but the free version only allows you to have meetings um for 45 minutes. I think it's only if it's one on one, then it can take longer. But well, if it's more than one person, it will be 45 minutes. And of course, you actually use Zoom to host, and join a meeting. And of course, just like I said before, it allows 100 people to actually, join a meeting or whatever it is that you want to do. All right. Then of course we have Microsoft Teams, right? Microsoft Teams also allow you to collaborate and communicate with your team members. Is just like the name implies, is actually a platform by Microsoft, right? And of course, it allows you to organize your department. You're able to use they have a chat feature. They have a video call function. You can actually share documents and all that, basically to collaborate easily. All right. Then we have Skype. Skype is actually another app. It's actually by Microsoft too. But it's a bit different from Google Meet. Microsoft Teams, right? So of course with Skype you're able to make video calls. Sometimes you can even make calls between countries, right? So that you have to put some money in your Skype account, and then boom, you can make the calls. And of course, they have a very good full video feature so that you can actually send chat invites to people, and of course blur your background. Do you see that? If you don't want your background to show, if you want it to look like it's blurred, it's very possible with Skype. All right. So yeah, now that I've looked at all the platforms that are available for you, so let's get how to actually run a meeting effectively. So it's not just about having a meeting. I mean, so many people have meetings every time. But the what stands out is how do you have the meetings, right? It has to be effective. Or I can see someone else, famed Fatty Kane from Senegal. Thank you so much for joining this session. Welcome on board, right? I hope that you will learn a lot before the session ends. All right. So yes, I was talking about how to run effective meetings. So you can actually you need to ensure that you don't just have meetings, right? It's one thing to have meetings, it's another thing to have effective meetings. Meetings will just be, oh, just came together and we're talking, or we're just talking, and we're just talking, we're just talking. sometimes if you don't have a good plan for your meeting, you might just go off and you're off the point of discussion, and then you're just there wasting time, right? So yes, so you need to ensure that whenever you're having meetings, you have your agenda. It's clearly stated. You're able to state the time for each of the you know items on that agenda. If you're going to have 15 minutes for opening speech, 5 minutes for whatever, so just ensure that you have a great agenda. And of course, consider your tone of voice when you're speaking. Don't speak angrily to people on a call. I mean, it's gonna look okay. It's gonna chop people off. So you have to consider the tone of your voice when you're speaking to people. You have to speak pleasantly to people so that they don't they don't back out from your meeting, right? And of course, you have to encourage using cameras, right? For your employees, encourage them to use cameras. Don't just like I'm using a camera now, right? They don't. Who am I speaking to? Most people want to know who they are speaking to, how the person look like, and trust me, conversations are even more deeply. They're more. They're actually more. People feel connected to people when they are seeing their faces while they are talking, their gestures and all that. So trust me, it's very good to have cameras on during the meeting. Then of course, be timely. Like ensure you follow your time. Don't let a 1 hour meeting turn to a 2 hour meeting. Don't let the 2 hour meeting turn to a 5 hour meeting. No, you have to ensure that everything is time bound and you work effectively. All right, and of course, you need to ensure that when you're actually running meetings, you put in the next point of action, right? What is after this meeting? What are we going to do next? Because at the end of the day, if you just put you're not able to follow up, you're unable to do that. Trust me, it will no longer be an effective meeting. Do you understand? All right, so let's look at the etiquette when you're doing a video conference or I mean meeting. First, you have to ensure that you prepare yourself. You look good, you wear good clothes, your face looks good. You don't look like you're just coming out of bed, right? Or don't stay in the background. Maybe you stay on your bed and then everybody's seeing your bed as the background. It doesn't even make sense. So you have to prepare yourself, ensure that you stay in a very good place. You have your outfits on, right? And I know there's this joke people usually put videos where the person just wears a top and then you don't know what's down there, right? Because I mean that's where you can see. Then dress appropriately, right? You need to ensure that you dress appropriately, right? Don't just excuse me. All right, so apologize for that break. So you can actually consider you need to ensure that you prepare yourself properly, right? And of course, you dress appropriately, right? Ensure that you have the right clothes on and all that, right? And of course, you need to consider your lighting, right? This lighting, is it good enough? Does it show your face well? Is it dark and all that, right? You need to ensure that wherever you're using for your meetings are not dark. People can actually see you well. And of course, you have to consider your background. And just like I said, you don't put your background, you don't use your bed as your background or a dirty place as your background, right? You need to ensure that whatever background you're using has to be presentable, so that anyone that is in the meeting would not cringe, right? And of course, you need to also consider your audio, right? So that your audio is clear enough, people can hear you, people can understand what you're saying. Do you see that? All right, let's just continue. And of course, let's get tips for collaborating effectively. So the first thing that you have to equip your team with the right tools, right? Equip your team with the right tools. Then of course, make your product management easy. Do you understand? Don't just um, you know, jumble things together, and then when you're trying to person that's trying to manage the project is having a hard time doing that. And of course, you ensure that you make your document sharing very easy and accessible, so that everybody can send documents to everybody. You can use, there's Google Workspace. Google Workspace allows you to share documents, Google Drive, and all that. And there are also other, platforms that can allow you to do that, right? And of course, you have to encourage collaboration within your department, right? Encourage collaboration and encourage you know people communicating and all that. People are doing well, bonding well within your within department. Then of course you have to make sure that your company culture is at the height of it, even if you're working remotely. You don't throw company culture away because you're working remotely. So if your company culture is excellent, ensure that whatever work you're doing is excellent. So whatever it is that you're doing, you need to ensure that you uphold your company culture. Do you see that? All right, so let's look at the final tips for productivity. Just like I said before, always over communicate. Don't Rather than for you to over communicate or under communicate, right? So ensure that you communicate your team regularly and keep them, updated on what's happening and all that. And of course, you have to be disciplined. Just like I said, you can't say, "Oh, I'm tired," and then 1 minute, you just work for 30 minutes and I say you're tired, you go back to bed. No, that doesn't work, right? It's not actually it's not a vacation, it's not a paid leave. It is work, 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 remote work, right? So you have to keep work as work. Do you see that? Of course, you have to have your tools ready for work. So your laptop, your desk, your chair, your table, your internet, your phone, your notepad, everything ready, right, for your work. Then of course you have to find what energizes you and of course get on it. Whatever Whenever you see that you're already having low morale, do whatever it is that can, hype you up and get it done and then go back to your work. Do you see that? All right. So let's see, do we have questions before I move ahead? Will you do a training in how to do a pitch? Madam May Fati. Okay. So I mean, we can you can actually send. We'll actually take note of that, right? Even if it's not on this platform, right? We'll take note of that and try to work around something for your impact. I will try to work around something around for that, right? So yes, we appreciate that question. So yes, we would work on that even if it's not on this platform, because basically what we're trying to push here is digital skills, right? Digital skills, ensure that you're there digitally. All right, so thank you for that, but definitely we'll take note of that you've asked for, and of course we'll try to give it to you. All right, so let's look at the last item on our agenda, which is how to manage and maintain your well-being. Look at how to manage and maintain your well-being. So why is it important to actually manage your well-being? I want to know. I want to hear from you. Why is it important to manage your well-being? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's awesome. No problem. We'll take note of that. So why is it important for you to manage your well-being? Let me hear from you, right? Why is it important to manage your well-being? Because I mean, these days we're hearing of mental health support, you're hearing of all of this depression and all that. So why is it really important to manage your well-being? Because I mean, these days, right, it's especially now that there's COVID. I mean, COVID is, thank God that it's no longer as bad as it was last year, but yet people are still dying from depression. People are not doing well. There are times that people have complained that, oh, you know what, I'm not doing well, I feel like killing myself and all that. So it's because there's something that leads them to that point. So it's definitely important that you learn how to manage it so that before it goes out of hand. Do you see that? So of course, the first reason why is good to manage your well-being, because it actually impacts your overall health. So if you're not feeling great, right, in your mind first, know that it might affect your, because sometimes maybe because you are thinking, you're confused, you start having headache. Before you know it, it develops into fever. Before you know it, you're down and everything. So you need to ensure that you manage it so that it doesn't impact on your health. And of course, it can actually lead to greater productivity. So if you manage your health properly, you're able to be more productive, right? You can do more work within a short time frame, deliver results, take your business to the next level, scale and all that, right? Everybody wants to make sales, get more customers and all that. That's the major thing that every business owner wants. So you can only do those things if you manage your well-being. And of course, you actually increase your resilience. You'll be able to resist even when there are issues. Be able to stand and say, "I'm going to solve this matter. I'm going to figure it out," and you're going to do it. Do you see that? So yes, it's but a person who is not in the right frame of mind, trust me, cannot even manage anything. right? And of course, you boost your morale and level of happiness, right? You are up there, you're happy and all that. So yes, that's really really important for you, because all of these things are a major part of your well-being. All right. So what can oh, I can see Salome Fuda. Thank you. Welcome. It's great to have you here. How are you doing? Are you joining from Zambia too? Please let me hear from you. All right. Thank you so much for that, Salome. All right. So what can you do to manage your well-being, right? Let's get the things that you can actually do to manage your well-being. So the first thing, you have to stop overworking. Don't overwork. Don't work from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. straight up. Have times that you take a break. It might be as little as 30 minutes, right? Maybe you take a break to eat, take a break to have a walk, whatever it is. Don't overwork, because at the end of the day you realize that at the end of the day you just be doing a lot of things but you're not really productive. Do you see that? So if it means that you have to set reminders, oh, I'm going to take my break around 2 p.m., do that, right? And then you have to also be clear that you have to let your team know that, okay, I'm going to take my break by 5 p.m., so please nobody should reach out to me. If you reach out to me, I'll not be available within a period, right? And of course you have to turn off notifications. You start seeing emails, oh, you want to go back to it. No, turn off notifications when you're on break, right? You're on break, let you, so that whatever it is, you can go back when you start working again. And of course, schedule like an activity, like maybe like taking a walk. I talk about something, might even be going to the gym, right? Riding a bike or something. Just ensure that you stay, active, and you know what works for you, right? Whatever works for you. I said before, sometimes it might even be meditation. Whatever I think works for you, you can just put in the activity in your day, start in your day, so that you're able to be more productive and avoid overworking. Yeah, and of course you have to be ready for culture shift, right? Whenever this happens, right? Of course, you need to ensure that you trust your employees' performance. Don't say because they're working for me, they'll not be. Ah, no, 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 they will not be serious. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to trust them that they will do it. Then if they breach the trust, then you know that, okay, they breach the trust. But you actually trusted them first, right? And of course, you have to rethink of the concept of work. It doesn't have to be from the office. It doesn't have to be from a traditional office. You can actually do your work anywhere, as even on an airplane. Right? Okay, we understand that you may not have internet on the airplane, but trust me, there's really no way you cannot do your work as long as you are comfortable, you're not distracted, and you are, fine. Do you see that? And of course, understand what your commitment look like. What am I committed to? Am I supposed to, work from 5 p.m., 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.? What's my commitment to my work? What's my commitment to my business? What's my commitment to this brand I'm building? Right? You need to understand that, and of course, put that into it. Of course, be patient. Employees sometimes they might take some time for them to settle down into that form of working, right? So there might be issues. Maybe they might be complaining, oh, I don't have internet, oh, I don't have this. Yeah, you have to be patient with them, because they are just trying to grow into that. So please be patient in the process. All right, all right, all right. So we're getting to the end of this session. So yes, you have to ensure that you manage your well-being by exercising regularly, right? Exercise, go to gym, have fun, dance, and all that. And of course, you have to view mental health as something very, very serious. I told you that people are dying from depression. Do you know people are dying from depression? You see people killing themselves. Why? Because they feel that, oh, the whole world is against them, right? They're not talking to people. They're just dying there. So please ensure that you take it seriously. It's something important. If you're having issues, you can talk to a mental health support specialist, right? Even right now, I can even tell you that Impact is actually offering support to people. So yes, you can actually take advantage of those kind of support. So these are the ways that you can actually ensure that you manage your mental health properly. And of course, checking with your manager or your team regularly. What's happening? What's happening? What are you doing? Have you achieved your goal? Have you done this? Have you done that? You're able to check in to know what's going on, right? And of course, you have to separate your professional life from your personal life. They are two different things. Your husband is different from your boss. Do you see that? So you have to separate it and make sure that you put a balance right there. Then, of course, you have to organize in-person social meetups where you can, your employees can actually come together and have fun. I know there was one time at Impact, we actually went to a beach, right, and we got together. Everybody was working remotely, but yet we took off a day where we're able to work, play together, we're able to know each other better and all that. So sometimes it helps with your team money, and it helps even at the end of the day boost productivity. Because trust me, if two team members are having issues, then they will slow down their work, because you see, I don't want to reach as that person. She's too this. Oh, I don't want to just, and then there's this bottleneck because they are not at good terms, or they are not on good terms. So these are things that can help you to ensure that your employees are productive. All right, so this is my last pause for questions. Do we have questions? Before we go, please let me know if you have questions. I'll be happy to take them at this point in time. All right. So yeah, so Johanna will actually be dropping the certificate link for you. So please do well to take advantage of that link, and you have actually get a certificate from Google and from Impact Her. Right. So yes. So what are the next steps for you? For you, you need to ensure that you learn more about these things, right? Because this thing that I'm saying is just not enough. It's not you can't exhaust these things, right? So we call this place Google University, right? So that I can actually take a lot of courses, as many as you want. So you can go to learndigital.withgoogle.com/digital skills/courses. So Johanna will be dropping that link for us so that we can learn more later after this training. Yeah, so if you like to reach out to us, okay, so yeah, before that, I would like to remind you that Google is actually offering a free one-to-one mentorship for small businesses and charities. So please feel free to sign up at bit.ly/GDSA mentoring. Again, I'll say bit.ly/GDSA mentoring. So I'm sure Johanna will drop in that link for us, so that we can take note of it. Then yes, if you want to reach us on social media, please reach us on Facebook, facebook.com/digital skills for Africa. Right. And on Twitter, you can actually find us on twitter.com/digital skills AF. And on Instagram, you can actually find us on instagram.com/digital skills AF. All right, so thank you for that. So for Impact Her, Joanna will be dropping Impact Her links, so you can actually follow Impact Her, right? So Joanna will be dropping those links for us, right? So that we can actually follow Impact Her. Impact Her has great packages for you, as a business owner. We're offering mental health support. We're offering great. Until you join, you see a lot of them, right? So please take advantage of that. All right. So thank you so much for joining this session. But before I go, please hit the subscribe button so that you be aware of any training we have, so that I can join in and learn and take your business to the next level. So yes, I would like to say thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of this. I hope that you learned a lot and this training was actually very insightful. Please don't forget to to take note of certificate link so that I can send you certificates, right? So that to certify you for attending this training. So yes, once again, I'll say thank you and have a great day. Bye.